Hi, welcome to AFTV. I've got Robbie with me. We've just beaten Nottingham Forest 3-0 here at the Emirates. Rob, you'd have been aware how big this game was for the fans, the team. Nottingham Forest, not usually a massive game, but we needed a result, especially to stay in the race that we believe we can go on and win this season. What an emphatic win from Arsenal today.
Yeah, and I said this morning when I was doing sort of like my road trip, I go, this is a win only, right? We must win. Even if the performance ain't great, we have to win this game or kiss any hopes of the league goodbye. And
you got both. You got a win.
We got a win and we got a great performance. And I thought today Arsenal were brilliant. I heard what Julian, you heard what Julian was saying in his interview. Nottingham Forest have not been a poor team this season. They've been one of the best teams in the league this season. They were on the same amount of points as us.
Same win.
They went away to Liverpool, beat Liverpool at Anfield. That was a real shot. But I watched that game. They outplayed Liverpool in that game. They were brilliant, right? You know what I mean? They've been giving teams problems all season, and the way in which Arsenal dealt with them today, they made them look very, very ordinary, and that's a big compliment to Arsenal. I thought today we were absolutely brilliant. This game, on paper, a lot of the other teams around us would have been, the other teams that are in contention. Yep. If you're a Liverpool fan, if you're a City fan, if you're a Chelsea fan, you're looking at this game and thinking it's a potential banana skin for Arsenal, 100%. Even though they're at home, because Forest have been playing so well. And even a draw would have been a disaster for us today. And Mikel Arteta was under a lot of pressure. And when I saw that team sheet before the game,
were you happy with the team sheet?
I was worried.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at it and I'm thinking, is he taking this a bit too lightly? Forest are a good side, why are we leaving out Havertz? Yeah. Why are we not playing Partey from the beginning? I was a bit, why is Rice not starting? But listen, he got it absolutely right. And the team were brilliant today. Do
they keep their shirts going forward for you? All those 11?
No. I do think, there'll be changes for, because I think he had one eye on the game. Fair. Against, Sporting, which again is another huge game for Arsenal in the Champions League. But, he got everything right today, Mikel Arteta. Everything was spot on. And another thing, let me just say, because I heard when Julian came on, he was trying to spit fire on me.
Yeah, he wanted to. He said, I'm coming.
There was one fundamental thing that he completely forgot to mention, right? That we was talking about and arguing. We've been arguing about it for weeks, and we were arguing about it on the starting 11. And I said to him that Bukayo Saka has to start games for Arsenal. Unless this guy's injured, he should start every single Premier League game and Champions League game, right? Is him and Odegaard, they're our two best players. Yeah. I'd say Saka's probably our best player in the team, right? You saw today why that guy has to start. He was a doubt before the game.
Yep.
In the first half, he was cooking, man. He was absolutely brilliant. He had their right back on absolute toast, or left back on toast the whole game.
The goal was phenomenal.
They couldn't deal with him. Brilliant goal. He could have had others as well. He was just creating chaos. And that's why your best players start every game. That's why Liverpool don't drop Salah. That's why City don't drop Haaland. Yeah, your best players start every game. That's why Cole Palmer starts for Chelsea. There's a reason why those players are only left out if they're injured.
But Julian says they should rest Saka at times.
He keeps talking about rest. The guy's been off for 2 weeks. Rest.
I agree.
And to me, I'm not with this thing about all this rest. You know what I mean? To me, we're in November. What rest for what? The season's just started. We're in November. The player's not burnt out. Yes, if he's injured, rest him. If it's a League Cup game, you can rest him.
Yeah.
If it's a meaningless Champions League game, you can rest him. If we're 10 points ahead of the teams that are trying to come behind us, maybe you can rest him. But right now, Saka, if fit, and Odegaard, they start every single game. Forget this attitude about resting players has to stop.
Yeah,
your best players play.
I think you're right. I think you saw that with Odegaard. There was a time where you mentioned, I know you didn't say it in this context, but we don't miss Odegaard. I'm not going to go back to that because at the time we were dealing with it.
Yeah.
When you see him back in the side, especially today, the touches, the link up there, the assist.
Best player on him and I'm trying to work out who was the best player on the pitch. Probably over the full 90, it's probably him. He was absolutely brilliant today. He was brilliant against Chelsea. Played the 90 in that. Brilliant again today. Controlled everything. Pulls the strings. Absolutely phenomenal player. My only criticism of him, shoot a bit more. I think this guy could have had a couple of goals today if he just shot a bit earlier, but maybe that's been because he's a little bit rusty, because remember, he hasn't been playing up until the game against Chelsea. He hasn't played since August. So maybe it's a little bit I think if he'd have got a couple of shots off today, he could have got a couple of goals. He was so good today. They couldn't live with him. They couldn't live with him. They couldn't live with Saka, and that made all the difference. Those two were phenomenal.
Let me fizz the ball into you here and see if you can control it, because I think today, the players, bar the Odegaards and Sakas, there were some really good performances today.
Yeah.
So, let's start with, there was criticism of Mikel Moreno. I think he's starting to really bed into this team. I want you to talk about him a little bit. And then also, during Timber at right back, does Ben White have problems when he returns?
Ben White has problems, because, Yuri Timber is a very strong defender.
Very good today.
And,
as well.
He's very good today. He gets something down the pitch, and again, big compliment at the moment, right? Right, before people clip it, is that we're not missing. Today we didn't miss Ben White because Timber was so good.
Fair.
But Ben White's a great player, and I still love his link up that he has and his connection that he has with Saka. But I thought today Timber was really, really good.
Mikel Moreno?
Mikel Moreno again. I said a couple of weeks ago that why are people getting on Moreno? Guys played like about 2 games. I was too slow. He's rubbish. I'm like, how's a guy coming? How's a guy coming to Arsenal? He's had no pre-season. Yeah. He got injured before he could even have a game. He broke his shoulder, right? And then he comes into the heat of the battle when we've not been playing great, and everybody's, he's rubbish. Honestly, this is something we got to stop as fans.
That is us.
It's mad. It's absolutely mad. Not every single player comes in and hits the ground running. Very difficult in this league to do it. I was arguing with a fan a couple of weeks ago. He's going, but look at Savinho. I go, and I go, what's he done? He's not had a goal or an assist this season. He's looked good on the eye, but what's he done? He's not hit the ground running yet. He's not Mahrez yet at City, is he? So we have to allow players time, and I get it. I get why the frustration, because the position that we're in, we ain't got time. We got, But I think Moreno's going to turn out to be a good player. And he's very good today.
Very good, and you're right.
Very good.
I think fans are again
very, very good against Chelsea as well.
Yeah, I think frustrations obviously because we didn't get a striker. They're now looking to point at other players that aren't performing. But was in a bad space. Mikel Moreno, by the way, I think had a fantastic game today. 2 other players. I know we're going to do a player ratings, but I need to get talking to 2 other players. Firstly, Sterling before we go to Ethan Manieri. Sterling, you got an assist. Nice. Should he be getting some more minutes for you?
Yeah, well, listen, his Saka's playing. He ain't going to get a lot of minutes, but I think he just reminded everybody with a little cameo, that assist and that I'm still here, I'm still available, and I can still make an impact. And that's what we want to see him do. We want to see him make an impact, and he did today. It was a nice little assist for Wanieri, who, by the way, he was phenomenal when he come on, and he's been doing that every single time he's come on.
Should we be putting more pressure on Mikel Arteta to start him, or you? On the trust Arteta time, let him wait to build into this team. You can't rush it.
You got to trust him. You see the pressure, as I said. Our fans were getting at Moreno a couple of weeks ago.
Fair.
You got to take your time with some players.
But he looks the real deal.
He looks the real deal. Martin Odegaard's back now, so I guess his chances of starting games are going to be a lot harder. But what I like about him is that, and what makes him a bit different to even say Odegaard, is his ability to pick the ball up and carry the ball and run at players. And we already have that with any of our other midfield players. No. And I think that I want to see him playing more. I really do. When he came on today, even before he scored that goal, that little swerve he did on that, where he lifted the Forest
did a step over and listen.
And his confidence at 17 is ridiculous. It's mental. You know what I mean? And I said it a couple of weeks ago about that time when I think it was Jason Cundy was saying that Mikel Arteta has been selfish when he brought him on as a 15-year-old and it's all about him and that. Mikel Arteta knew what he was doing. We knew, we have a star player in our academy who's going to make it all the way. He's going to be a top player. You can see it. But I do think it is the right approach to take their time with him. Why rush it? Why, because you can also ruin a player if you rush it too early. Because there's a lot of pressure on it. Even when you're a young player, you're coming through. Even you look at someone like a Cole Palmer at Chelsea. He's an exceptional player. There's a lot of pressure on him now. Every game
he doesn't turn up in a big game.
Turn up in a big game. We forget he's still a very young player.
Yeah, fair.
You know what I mean? So it is going to take him time. So I think in the Wanyeri thing, I think they're handling him right at the moment. But every time he's coming on, he's making an impact. And you're looking on him and saying, if, you know, God forbid, Odegaard is out, he can come in and definitely do a job. And he was outstanding.
Let me end the interview by getting your thoughts on this. Obviously, Turkish in the preview said, I'm not going to be like the Robbies, the Cecils and the Ties of this world about believing, you know, if you know, that we can go on and win this league. But with a performance like that, I think before this game I was saying Arsenal need to show us something that we can kind of buy into, that we can go on and, like I mentioned at the top of the interview, that we can buy into and believe in that the team to go on and potentially challenge again. How big of a result is this? Considering that Man City right now also, as we speak, is 2-0 to Spurs. Is it for you confidence building?
Absolutely massive. But where I would agree with Turkish, it's only one game, right? So we need to go on a run.
He's saying it's done. He said there's no hope of
No, it's not done yet, right? We need to go on a run. We've got games coming up that are winnable games. If we can go on a run, we're right back in it. We're still, you know, 6 points today, but still probably going to be 9 points behind Liverpool. We've got Southampton, right? So, you know, it's still a long way to go. But results like this, performances like this, gives you hope, because that was impressive today against a team that have been doing very, very well this season, a team that have beaten big teams this season and given big teams problems, and Arsenal made them look very, very ordinary. So. That was a great performance today.